I'm Steve, and this was my experience renting a supercar in Dubai. I'm telling you this so that you can avoid getting scammed and save some money, and it makes for a good story. So let's do it. Today I want to tell you guys about my experience renting a Lamborghini Urus in Dubai, the city of gold. Guys, I finally did it. I lived out my dream. I finally drove a Lamborghini. I'm going to tell you guys the whole process from start to finish, the prices, and the overall driving experience. So let's hop in. It's a good story. It's gonna make for a great time. First off, the reason I rented it in Dubai is it's a whole lot cheaper compared to other places. For the price to rent it in Dubai, you'll probably only be able to rent it for like 4 hours in any other major city. Especially in Europe, I've seen it for that exact price. You're only gonna rent the supercar for like 30 minutes to an hour. So that's definitely not on the table. Dubai is definitely the best option for renting a supercar, and overall they have the most options of the different available cars, so they most likely have your dream car. Alright, so the first step, you have to find a reputable rental car agency. They're basically all scammers and they're trying to get money out of you, so they're trying to find any little way to get it out of you, but some are definitely a lot worse. Red flags to look out for: if the price is too good to be true compared to the other rental car agencies, then it's most likely a scam. And the way they try to scam you is they'll try to hold on to your deposit and not pay it back, and find any reason to hold you liable and not give you your money. The way I avoided this was by going to the most popular one on TikTok, because I know they would try to protect their brand image, and if they try to do something against me, I could go on social media and say things against them, which I'm sure they wouldn't want. Step 2, once you actually find the rental agency you want to go with, then it's time to book your rental. What's required for the rental is you need your driver's license, your passport, and you need to be over the age limit. Most of the time you need to be at least 21 years old, but I've seen it with a minimum age of at least 30 years old at some companies. So definitely check that before you book it. They used to actually hold on to your passport, and it was legal at the time, but now they just take pictures of your passport and driver's license, so that way you don't try to run off with the car, which is understandable because some of these cars are super expensive. After you book the car you want and it finally gets to the date of the experience, there's going to be a person to come drop off the car for you, or if you go in person, there's going to be a representative that's going to take care of you. At that very first moment, the first thing that happens is you have to pay for the deposit, and you have to pay for the cost of the rental. In my case, for the Urus, it was about $800 for the rental and about $1,000 deposit that you'll get back after about a month. How much your deposit is all dependent on which car you get. The cheaper cars are going to have a smaller deposit, and the more expensive cars are going to have the bigger deposit. You can also pay for super collision damage waiver insurance, so that way in case you get in an accident you don't have to pay it, and it ranges from $50 to $100 plus. I choose to opt out of it, and I was just hoping for the best and praying that no one would hit me. After you pay the money, you then inspect the car. Guys, this is super important. Inspect the car properly. The guy has a sheet with a 360 of the car. He'll write down any bumps or anything that's wrong with the car, and he'll write down notes. So make sure any little scratch, any dent is on that paperwork, so that way they don't charge you for it afterwards. Another easy way to do this is take a video of the car in detail, high quality, going over every single inch of the car, so that way you have it with a timestamp and you can use it as evidence in case they try to say that it was your fault. Once you sign for the car, it's officially yours for the next 24 hours. And now we're getting into the driving experience. So this is where I have issues, right? The driving experience was fun because it was a Lamborghini, but the experience driving in Dubai just didn't hit as hard as I thought it was going to be. First off, there were speed cameras like every mile or just over every kilometer. So you really can't enjoy the car at top speed, how the car is meant to be driven. You have to just be cruising most of the time. The speed cameras will flash if you go 1 kilometer over the speed limit. So make sure you maintain underneath that, because those speeding tickets can range for several hundreds of dollars. And like I said, the speed cameras are everywhere. So if you get 5 speeding tickets in one trip, that could be more than the cost of the rental itself. Next, the parking. The parking was a mess because most of the places have underground parking, and this is where I was happy that I had the Urus because it was raised. If I had like Huracan or any other supercar that slowed to the floor, I was afraid that I would have hit like the corners when going into the parking garages. So I was absolutely terrified of that. So I'm happy I went with the Urus. Also, if you don't want to deal with that and you just want to hand it to valet, the valet at the Mall of Dubai was around $60. That's super expensive. So I don't know what's worse, either risking hitting the car at some underground parking or paying $60 to a valet, but they're both bad options. Next up, on the car itself, most of the time you're limited to about 150 kilometers that you could use during your trip. Well, 150 kilometers per day. If you're driving it everywhere and you're truly trying to get the most out of your money, those 150 kilometers will get used up right away. Next up, you obviously rented the car, so that way you can take some pictures with it, so that way you have the memories. There isn't that many good spots to take pictures. I tried checking online and it recommended me some spots, but they're about like 30 minutes away, and that's when it eats up into your kilometers. And most of the spots that they were recommending were either parking lots, which aren't aesthetic, or the places that you see, they want you to pull over on the side of the road, which is dangerous. So not the best options. Also, while you're driving everywhere, the driving in the Middle East is a lot different compared to other countries. It's pretty rough out there. Some drivers are a bit more crazy, but I will say it is also a bit calm because of the speed cameras, because if not, they'd be pressing you a lot more. Oh, one tip for the speed cameras is make sure you download Waze onto your phone, so that way you use that for your navigation. One, it's the most accurate, and two, it actually shows you where the speed cameras are at, so that way you can slow down before you get to them. That's it for the driving experience. Now I'm gonna tell you guys a bit about some horror stories. Luisito Comunica, which is one of the most famous Mexican influencers and content creators, he rented a Lamborghini Aventador in Dubai a few years ago, and he went over a speed bump going 60 kilometers per hour, maybe even slower, and it scraped the whole underside. It was just a line, but they charged him $20,000 US to get that fixed, and they were threatening keeping his passport and not letting him leave the country. That's intense, that's scary, and that's so much more problems than what you bargained for, because at the end of the day, you just wanted to rent a supercar. You don't want to pay 20 grand. I think he only ended up paying around 10 grand because they were scammers, like I said. And they were trying to do some fraudulent stuff, make him pay on some weird websites where his bank was declining. And his bank actually returned some of those funds because of that scammer behavior. Next up, Whistling Diesel, who is known for wrecking cars. He actually racked up over 100,000 dirhams in speeding tickets. I'm sure they could revoke his license, and imagine paying that much in speeding tickets. I can't. That would be so bad, guys. That would be so bad. And there's one other YouTuber, I think it was Ryan Trahan, whose girlfriend crashed the Cadillac Escalade. I still think it was him, but that was just a mess, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want you guys to deal with that. So be super careful while driving these cars. They're so expensive, and the way a lot of these places are able to get that money is because they're going to charge you top dollar to get it fixed, but they have it insured. I've heard these guys trying to charge you for the service that it costs to get it repaired, the parts, and also the price it would cost them if it was being rented out. So you're getting triple screwed right there. So be very, very careful when you're in these cars, please. But those are some of the bad horror stories. Overall, it is a fun experience because you're driving your favorite car and you get to live it up in Dubai, which is pretty awesome. After you do return the car and you sign off and you make sure everything's good, you get your deposit around a month later. I actually messaged them because I felt like they were taking a while, but as soon as I messaged them, they're like, oh, okay, you should get it within the next few days. And then they asked me what currency it was in, and I said US dollars. So due to currency conversions, I ended up losing like $50, which was just terrible. But at least I got my deposit back, which is overall good. But that's basically it, guys. That was my experience with the Urus. It was a fun time. I did get some good clips, and I got to live out my dreams. But I was absolutely terrified that I was gonna get into an accident or get the car scraped up and have to pay a ridiculous amount of money. So I'm not sure if I would do it again. I would consider it if it was for another video, but if it was just for my own sake, I probably would have to think about it twice before renting another one. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe and let me know what kind of car content you want to see next. New videos every week, so stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.